So taking a plastic bottle here, guys, you're going to cut the bottom end off of your plastic bottle using some nice scissors. If you need help, you can ask an adult to do this for you. I made a hole in my bottle first before cutting it with the scissors, and then I was able to get the blades of the scissors through. Make sure you cut it all off. There it goes. Now I'm going to create some little mouth edge shapes. So on one side of the bottle I'm going to cut a triangle shape about halfway down my bottle. And at this point I want to remind you that you want to make sure that there are no sharp corners. So I rounded my corners off. It's quite hard to see in the sunlight here. There you go. Round the corners off just so there's no sharp edges. You want to make 2 of those. So remember, only going down halfway into your bottle to create that triangle shape. You can make these triangle shapes as wide or as slim as you like. The wider they are, the harder it's going to be to catch your bee. So just bear that in mind and round off any corners so you're not going to snag your string or your fingers on it. And remove the label, which I didn't do at this point, but I do in a minute. So there you go. You can see I created a little mouthpiece. From my cut off bits of the bottom end, I cut about 4 or 5 centimeters and I cut 2 strips off, and I'm going to create some teeth for my Venus flytrap. So I took 2 pieces and I'm cutting little triangles about halfway down into that 5 centimeter wide piece of plastic. I'm using pretty big scissors here, but you might want to use slightly smaller ones just so you're able to get nice neat teeth and don't cut your fingers off. So make 2 of those, 1 for the top and 1 for the bottom mouth. Then I just took some ordinary white acrylic paint. You could use Tipp-Ex, or you could keep them clear if you wanted. And I just gave them a quick coating of paint just so that they stood out a little bit more and you guys could see them. Then I made sure that I left them to dry completely before I stuck them on, because if you don't, it'll be completely messy. So just give them a little light coating. You don't have to be particularly neat, and make sure you're painting on a rough surface so that you're not going to mess up Mum's table. Good. Going back to my bottle, I'm going to paint the outside green. I'm going to do this pretty quickly and roughly using some acrylic paint. You could cover this in PVA glue and tissue paper if you'd like, but I just did this really quickly with paint. So because this is plastic, I recommend using acrylic paint. It's going to scratch off over time, but it will stick and dry rather than any other paint won't really stick to this plastic. Make sure you give your bottle a full coating if you are painting it. You can leave it completely clear if you don't want to, or do the tissue paper and PVA glue alternative. Once you finish with that nice bright green, I realised I needed something to help me stand up my bottle while it dries, and so I grabbed a roll of sellotape and used it to prop my bottle up. Yay! Then I took some bright yellow, and along the edges of my mouth I just decided to do a bit of yellow as a bit of a gradient, and to make it look more 3D and video game like, almost like those plants that try to eat you in Mario. So I went along the side curved edges that I cut out and all along the top, and I brushed the yellow paint and just kind of mixed the 2 colours together to make it nice and soft where they meet. Next I took some dark green paint, which is called Viridian, and I did a little bit of a coating on the bottom of my bottle where my handle is, just so that it looked a bit darker and it gave it more life. This is completely optional, I'll show you here. So I did a coating, and then I did the same trick where I kind of brushed it into that really bright green paint to make it have like a soft gradient, so that it looked like it went from dark to bright green to yellow. Then you want to make sure that you leave this to completely dry, because again, if you try and stick things to this, not only will the glue not stick, but you also create a big mess. So make sure you completely let that dry. Moving on to your bee, I first ate a Kinder Egg, and then I took the prize out of the egg in the middle, and I poked a hole in the bottom of the egg. Then I threaded this orange cord through the hole in the bottom and pulled it through the egg, and inside I knotted it to a button. Then I pulled the cord to pull the button tight, and I closed up my egg and made sure the button didn't pull through the hole. I painted on some stripes using a black permanent marker and some black acrylic, some eyes and a mouth. And there was my bee. Now you don't want more than 2 lengths of string as long as your bottle, otherwise it's too hard. The longer your string, the harder your game, so just bear this in mind. Next, I couldn't find the actual lid to my bottle, so I had to make up this one. But obviously you're going to use your lid which screws on. You're going to pop a hole into the bottom of your lid. Use a sharp pen or a knife there. And then take your bee, come to the end where the string is not looped to anything, and you're going to thread your thread through, eventually, the hole in the bottom of your lid. First you want to thread through your Venus flytrap bottle. It's going to be a little bit tricky, so you might want someone to help you. You want to thread the string all the way through. Yup, just like so. Oh, sticky hands. There you go. Once you've got your string through, then take your cap. Remember, you've got a hole in the bottom of your cap, so you're going to thread it through the hole and then tie it onto another button. You want to double knot this again so it doesn't pull through the cap. Again, I didn't actually have a cap for my bowl. I don't know where I lost it, so I had to glue this fake cap on. So that's why I'm doing mine in a bit of a different order. But once you've got your button attached to your string, you're then going to screw on your bottle cap nice and tight, and you should be ready to play. Because I didn't have a cap that fit my bottle, I had to glue this fake one on, so I actually glued the button inside of my cap. Trim off any excess string you have, so you're not going to get all caught up in that. And it's about ready and done. So here is your final product. You'll be able to change the length of the string through the bee itself, so you can always open up the bee and change the length. Now you're ready to play. Have go, see how many times you can catch it in one go. Maybe you want to put something inside your bee to make it a bit heavier, and that might change how many times you can catch it in your Venus flytrap. Hope you have loads of fun, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Yes.